I think like many of you, when you say Professor X, everybody pictures Patrick Stewart. It's sort of hard not to, like he literally is that character come to life. I mean, he's in the Guinness World Book of Records for that role as well, so it's pretty impressive. Now, let's talk about how he didn't actually want the job and ended up turning it down multiple times. 20 years of X-Men. It's been a wild ride. I still remember the original film. I wasn't really hyped for it because I was more of a DC fan at the time, and my friend had to convince me just to even give that film a shot. And what convinced me was the fact that it just looked different, and I was like, you know what? I'll go with you for your birthday. We'll go watch this X-Men movie. And that sort of started to turn me more towards Marvel. It was the combo of this film, X-Men 2, and Spider-Man 1 and 2 that really put me more on a Marvel track to kind of look at more of the stuff they were offering at the time. Now, when it comes to Patrick Stewart, everybody looks at those movies, you go, you know what? The cast, those were solid. Patrick Stewart specifically sticks out as one of the best comic book castings, I think, of all time. So recently, while they got to sit down and talk to David Hayter, who wrote the actual script for the first X-Men movie, the one they ended up going with, he opens up a little bit about casting Patrick Stewart, and specifically how Stewart did not want to play Charles Xavier, and that it took multiple attempts, conversations, and trying to convince him over the course of a few months because he just was not interested. He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to sit in a chair the entire time because he would have to literally sit sometimes in a chair for 6 to 8 hours while they're shooting constantly, and that wasn't something he wanted to do. And also at the time, they were wrapping up Star Trek The Next Generation, so, he didn't want to play another bald character, as he said before. There was just so many factors going into this. And also, we did learn that when it came to, Patrick Stewart's career, he was listening to a lot of people that were telling him, hey, maybe you should take this, maybe you shouldn't. And X-Men at the time was a uncertain role, as we recently also found out. So there was a lot of people telling him, look, if you take this, if this ends up being another Batman and Robin, this could be the end of your career, so be careful with what you do. And honestly, you can see how all of these things would factor into it because, again, comic books were unsure. You didn't know what was going to happen, and taking a more serious tone definitely helped us get to where we are today. But back then, Batman and Robin, the combination of the last couple terrible Superman movies and a few other terrible movies like Steel and Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., did not help convince anybody that comic book movies were going to be the next big thing in a decade.